Ever wonder how hundreds of meals magically appear in mid-air on a plane, all at once? Spoiler alert, it's not a microwave in the cockpit. Behind every tray of chicken or pasta is a massive food factory, working round the clock like a culinary mission control. Today, we're diving inside the high-pressure, high-volume world of airline food production. Buckle up, hit that like button, and let's fly straight into the kitchen. Step 1. Starting with the shopping spree. So, you might think airline meals are just thrown together with whatever's in the fridge, but nope. It starts way before that, like a massive giant grocery shop. Think about it. Hundreds of people on one big plane, all needing to eat. Airlines work with special food companies called catering companies. They buy food in bulk. We're talking mountains of potatoes, rivers of gravy, and fields of lettuce. They get deliveries all the time, with trucks pulling up loaded with fresh veggies, meat, fish, and all sorts of ingredients. Everything gets checked super carefully when it arrives. It's not just about taste, it's about safety too. Airline food has to be super safe because lots of people are eating it, and nobody wants to get sick on a flight. Imagine having a bad stomach in the air and all toilets are occupied. You can't even find a bush on a plane. Not that I suggest doing that on land unless it's a life or death situation. So, they check temperatures, look for freshness, and ensure everything is top quality. Step 2. Dreaming up delicious dishes. Next up, someone has to decide what yummy things are going to be on the menu. This isn't just someone in the back saying, "Yeah, let's do chicken." It's a whole process. Airlines have food experts and sometimes even famous chefs who help them plan meals. They think about all sorts of things. What time of year is it? What kind of flight is it? Is it a short hop or a long haul across the world? What class are you flying in? First class, business, or economy? All of these things change what kind of food you get. They also have to think about what food travels well. Some food just doesn't taste good after it's been cooked, chilled, and then heated up again on a plane. So, they choose recipes that can handle the journey. They also think about different tastes. Some people want spicy, some want plain, some want vegetarian, some want special meals because of allergies or religion. It's a big puzzle to make sure everyone gets something they can eat and enjoy. They create menus weeks or even months in advance, planning out every single meal for every single flight. It's like planning a giant party, but every single day. Step 3. Massive meal prep. Kitchen chaos, but organized. Okay, now we get to the really cool part, the kitchens. Airline catering kitchens are huge. Imagine a warehouse, but instead of boxes, it's full of giant ovens, massive fridges, and loads of people in chef hats. These kitchens are designed to cook thousands of meals every single day. It's like a food factory, but they're actually cooking real food. They have different sections for different types of food. One area just for prepping veggies, another for cooking meat, another for baking bread. And all of this is done on a massive scale. They use giant machines you wouldn't see in your home kitchen. Think huge mixers that can make mountains of mashed potatoes, ovens that can bake hundreds of chicken breasts at once, and pots so big you could probably take a bath in them though. Please don't. But even though it's massive, it's all very organized. Everything has to be super clean and efficient to make sure meals are made quickly and safely. It's a real well-oiled food machine. Step 4. Cooking up a storm in bulk. So how do they actually cook all this food? Well, they use a mix of cooking methods, but everything is geared towards cooking in bulk. Roasting, steaming, and stewing are popular because you can cook large amounts of food at once, and they tend to hold up well for airline meals. For example, They might roast hundreds of chickens in massive ovens or steam tons of vegetables in giant steamers. They also make sauces and gravies in huge batches in tilting kettles. These are like giant, heated bowls that can pour out the sauce when it's ready. One thing to know is that they often cook food to be a little less cooked than you would at home. This is because the food will be reheated later on the plane, and they don't want it to become dry or overcooked. It's all about getting the timing just right, so that when you eat it in the air, it's still tasty. Step 5. Assembling the airplane art. Tray time. Once the food is cooked, it's time to put it all together on those little trays you see on planes. This is called tray assembly, and it's like a food assembly line. Imagine lots of people standing at a conveyor belt, and trays are moving along in front of them. Each person has a specific job. One person puts the main dish on the tray, another adds the side vegetables, someone else puts in the bread roll, and so on. Everything is carefully portioned out to make sure everyone gets the same amount of food. They use scoops and special tools to make sure it's all just right. They also add all the little extras, the tiny butter, the little salt and pepper packets, the cutlery, and maybe a small dessert. It's like building a tiny edible puzzle on each tray. And they have to do this super fast because they have to prepare thousands of trays for each flight. Step 6. Chill out. Fast. Freezing for freshness. Okay, this is a super important step. Once the trays are all assembled, the meals need to be chilled down super quickly, like really quickly. This is for food safety. If food stays warm for too long, bad bacteria can grow, and nobody wants that on a plane. So, they use blast chillers. These are like super-powered refrigerators that can cool food down from hot to cold in just a few hours. Sometimes, they even freeze the meals completely, especially for long flights. Freezing helps to keep the food fresh and safe for longer. They cool down the food so fast that it keeps its flavor and texture much better than if it was cooled down slowly. It's like hitting pause on the food, keeping it perfect until it's ready to be eaten. Step 7. Quality check. Taste testers to the rescue. Before any meal gets on a plane, it goes through a quality check. It's not just about food safety checks, which they do constantly, but also about taste. Yes, there are people who actually get to test airline meals. Lucky them, right? These taste testers make sure the food tastes good, that it's seasoned properly, and that it looks nice. They check if the chicken is cooked just right, if the vegetables are still a bit crisp, and if the sauce is flavorful. They're like food critics for the sky. If something isn't right, they can stop a whole batch of meals from going on the plane. This helps to make sure that you get a meal that is not only safe to eat, but also actually tastes good when you're up in the air. Step 8. Packing for the plane. Ready for takeoff. Finally, the meals are ready to go to the airport. They are carefully packed into special carts. These carts are designed to keep the food chilled or frozen during transport. Think of them as mini fridges on wheels. The carts are then loaded onto trucks and driven to the airport. Everything is timed perfectly to make sure the meals arrive at the plane just before it's ready to take off. When the truck arrives at the plane, the carts are carefully unloaded and wheeled onto the aircraft. Flight attendants then store these carts in the plane's galleys, ready for meal service. It's a whole logistical operation, like a food delivery service on a massive scale, making sure fresh and safe meals get to thousands of people flying all over the world every single day. Okay, so we've seen how much work goes into making these airplane meals, but here's something really weird I heard. Apparently, your taste buds actually change when you're up in the air. Some people say food tastes different on a plane, And it's not just because you're hungry. Could it be true that airlines are actually doing secret experiments to make food taste better at high altitude? Maybe they're using special ingredients or even sonic flavor waves. Hold on to your peanuts, because the truth about airplane taste is about to get really strange. Is it all in our heads? Or is there something more to this high-flying flavor mystery? Get ready for a taste of the unexpected. Twist. All right, ready for the big reveal about airplane food taste? Well, it's not sonic flavor waves exactly. But the rumor about taste changing in the air is totally true. It's not some crazy airline secret though. It's actually science. See, when you're flying high up in the sky, the air pressure in the cabin is lower than on the ground. This lower pressure and the dry air actually affect your senses of taste and smell. Scientists say that your ability to taste sweet and salty things can go down by as much as 30% when you're flying. Crazy, right? So, it's not that the airlines are doing anything weird to the food to make it taste good in the air. It's more like they have to make the food extra flavorful on the ground so that it still tastes good when you're up in the sky and your taste buds are being a bit, well, airheaded. That's why airline meals sometimes seem to be a bit saltier or spicier than food you'd eat on the ground. They're actually compensating for your dull taste buds. Who knew airplane food was actually a clever science experiment in disguise? Mind blown again. So there you have it, the amazing detailed journey of an airline meal from giant kitchens to your tiny tray table in the sky. It's way more complicated and cool than you probably ever thought, right? Next time you get your meal on a plane, take a moment to think about all the work, planning, and science that went into getting that little tray to you. Did you learn something new about the secret world of airplane food? I bet you did. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes food adventure, then take flight over to our channel and check out our other videos for more tasty explorations. We've got a whole menu of cool content waiting for you. And now, if you'll excuse me, all this talk about airplane food has actually made me kind of hungry for airplane food. Okay, maybe not just airplane food, but definitely something tasty. Did you enjoy this video? Then make sure you smash a subscribe button. And what topic would you want us to cover next on our channel? Let us know in the comments down below, and we will make our next video on that topic. Happy travels, everyone, and until next time, keep your tray tables in the upright position and your appetites ready for adventure.